There's a part of your mind that's been making decisions for you since before you could even speak. It's been shaping your preferences, guiding your reactions, and influencing every choice you make, yet you've probably never had a real conversation with it. Right now, as you're listening to these words, it's scanning for familiar patterns, deciding whether to trust what I'm saying, and determining how long you'll keep watching. This invisible force isn't some mystical concept or New Age philosophy. It's the most sophisticated processing system ever discovered, and it's running in the background of your consciousness 24 hours a day. Scientists estimate that your conscious mind processes about 40 bits of information per second. That sounds impressive until you realize your subconscious is handling 11 million bits in that same time frame. While you're consciously deciding whether to have coffee or tea, your subconscious has already evaluated the temperature of the room, adjusted your breathing rate, monitored your blood sugar levels, and cross-referenced this moment with thousands of similar experiences from your past. It's like having a supercomputer that never sleeps, never takes breaks, and never stops learning about who you are and what you need. But here's what makes this fascinating and slightly unsettling. Your subconscious doesn't just observe your life, it actively creates your reality. The person you think you are, the world you think you live in, the future you think you want, all of these are heavily influenced by processes happening below the threshold of your awareness. Every day you make roughly 35,000 decisions, but research suggests that only a tiny fraction of these involve your conscious mind. The rest emerge from a complex web of associations, memories, and patterns that your subconscious has been weaving since you were born. Think about the last time you walked into a room and immediately felt uncomfortable without knowing why, or when you met someone and instantly liked them before they even spoke. These aren't accidents or coincidences. Your subconscious was rapidly processing micro-expressions, body language, vocal tones, and environmental cues, then delivering a conclusion to your conscious mind as a gut feeling. It's constantly running sophisticated analysis in the background, comparing new experiences with stored memories, looking for threats and opportunities you might miss. What's remarkable is how early this system begins forming and how permanently it shapes us. Before you had language to describe your experiences, your subconscious was already recording everything. The way your parents looked at each other during arguments, the tone of voice that meant you were in trouble, the feeling of safety or uncertainty in your childhood home. These early imprints become the foundation for how you interpret the world decades later. A certain laugh might make you feel inexplicably happy because it resembles someone who made you feel loved when you were 3 years old. A particular smell might trigger anxiety because your nervous system linked it to a moment of fear you can't even consciously remember. This is why two people can experience the exact same event and walk away with completely different stories about what happened. Their subconscious minds are filtering reality through entirely different sets of associations and learned patterns. One person's subconscious might interpret a brief pause in conversation as rejection, while another's reads it as thoughtfulness. Neither interpretation is necessarily correct, but both feel absolutely true to the person experiencing them. The subconscious operates on what psychologists call associative logic rather than linear reasoning. It doesn't think in words or follow step-by-step analysis the way conscious thought does. Instead, it works through connections, patterns, and emotional resonance. This is why certain songs can instantly transport you to specific moments from your past, complete with all the emotions you felt then. Your subconscious has linked that melody not just to a memory, but to an entire emotional state, and it can recreate that state faster than you can consciously remember why. This associative processing explains why subliminal influence is so powerful and why changing deeply held beliefs can be so challenging. Your subconscious isn't evaluating whether your beliefs are logical or beneficial. It's simply maintaining consistency with the patterns it has learned to recognize as true. If you grew up in an environment where love was conditional, your subconscious learned that acceptance requires perfect performance. Decades later, even when you consciously know this isn't true, that old programming continues running in the background, making you feel anxious whenever you're not exceeding expectations. What makes this even more complex is that your subconscious is constantly updating its programming based on new experiences, but it tends to interpret new information through the lens of existing patterns. This creates what researchers call confirmation bias, but it's not really bias in the way we usually think of it. Your subconscious is simply doing what it's designed to do, maintaining coherent patterns that help you navigate the world efficiently. The problem arises when those patterns become outdated, or when they were formed during circumstances that no longer apply to your life. Consider how your subconscious processes fear. When you were young and completely dependent on others for survival, being rejected or abandoned posed a genuine threat to your well-being. Your subconscious learned to be hyper-vigilant about signs of disapproval or disconnection. But now, as an adult with your own resources and support systems, that same hypervigilance might be causing you to interpret normal social interactions as threats. Your subconscious is still running security software designed for a completely different version of your life. The fascinating part is that your subconscious doesn't distinguish between real and imagined experiences when it comes to emotional learning. This is why visualization can be so powerful, but also why anxiety disorders can be so persistent. If you repeatedly imagine worst-case scenarios, your subconscious begins treating those imagined experiences as real data about the world. It starts preparing for threats that exist only in your imagination, creating physical stress responses to situations that haven't actually happened. This same mechanism explains why some people seem naturally confident, while others struggle with self-doubt, despite having similar capabilities and experiences. Confidence isn't really about conscious belief in your abilities. It's about what your subconscious has learned to expect from the world based on thousands of micro-experiences throughout your life. Someone who grew up receiving consistent encouragement and support develops subconscious expectations of success and acceptance. Their nervous system remains calm in challenging situations because their subconscious has learned that challenges usually work out well. Meanwhile, someone who experienced frequent criticism or unpredictable responses might develop subconscious expectations of failure or rejection, even when they consciously know they're capable and worthy. Their nervous system activates stress responses in challenging situations because their subconscious has learned to expect difficulty. This creates a self-fulfilling prophecy, where their anxiety actually impacts their performance, reinforcing the original programming. Understanding this mechanism is crucial because it reveals why positive thinking alone rarely creates lasting change. You can consciously repeat affirmations all day long, but if your subconscious has learned different patterns, it will continue generating feelings and behaviors that align with its deeper programming. Real transformation requires working with the subconscious on its own terms, using the same associative and experiential learning processes that created the original patterns. This is where the study of subconscious psychology becomes not just fascinating, but genuinely life-changing. Once you understand how this system works, you can begin to intentionally influence it, rather than being unconsciously controlled by it. You can start to recognize when your reactions are coming from old programming rather than current reality. You can begin to feed your subconscious new experiences and associations that support the life you actually want to live. But before we dive into how to work with your subconscious mind effectively, we need to explore something even more fundamental. How does your subconscious actually store and organize all this information? How does it decide which experiences to remember and which to forget? And why do some memories seem to have so much more emotional power than others? The answers to these questions reveal the deeper architecture of human consciousness itself. Consciousness itself. The architecture of subconscious memory isn't like a filing cabinet where experiences are neatly organized by date or topic. It's more like a vast web where every piece of information connects to multiple others through invisible threads of association. Your subconscious doesn't store memories as complete movies that you can replay. Instead, it breaks experiences down into fragments, sensory impressions, emotional tones, and contextual elements that get scattered across different neural networks. This is why a single smell can trigger such vivid recollections, while simultaneously feeling impossible to fully grasp. You're not actually remembering the complete original experience. Your subconscious is rapidly assembling fragments from various storage locations, reconstructing something that feels like the original memory, but is actually a new creation built from stored pieces. Each time you recall something, you're not accessing a recording. You're participating in an act of unconscious creativity. The subconscious prioritizes emotional significance when deciding what to encode and how deeply to store it. Experiences that generated strong emotions, whether positive or negative, get marked as important and receive more elaborate encoding. This is why you might remember exactly what you were wearing during a first kiss, but completely forget what you had for lunch 3 days ago. The emotional weight of an experience determines its storage priority, not its logical importance. This emotional tagging system explains why trauma can have such lasting impact, while positive experiences sometimes fade. Fear, and threat activate ancient survival circuits that demand permanent storage. Your subconscious treats emotionally charged negative experiences as critical survival data that might be needed to prevent future danger. Meanwhile, pleasant but emotionally neutral experiences might receive minimal encoding, making them harder to access later. But here's where it gets interesting. Your subconscious doesn't just store what happened, it stores what you felt it meant. The interpretation of an experience often becomes more permanently encoded than the factual details. Two siblings can grow up in the same household, but develop completely different subconscious programs because they interpreted the same events through different emotional lenses. One child might interpret their parents' busy work schedule as evidence of love and dedication. Another might experience it as abandonment or rejection. These interpretive frameworks become the invisible rules by which your subconscious operates. They form what researchers call core beliefs. Though they're rarely conscious or verbally articulated, they're more like emotional truths that your subconscious accepts without question. If your subconscious learned that showing vulnerability leads to hurt, it will automatically generate protective responses whenever you consider opening up, even in completely safe situations with trustworthy people. The subconscious also operates on what psychologists call state-dependent learning. Information encoded during specific emotional or physical states becomes more accessible when you're in similar states later. This is why certain moods can trigger cascades of related memories and why changing your physical posture or breathing pattern can shift your entire mental landscape. Your subconscious has linked not just thoughts and images, but bodily sensations and emotional states into complex associative networks. This state dependency explains why some people get stuck in emotional loops that seem impossible to break. When you're feeling anxious, your subconscious becomes better at accessing memories of other times you felt anxious, which reinforces the current anxiety, which makes more anxious memories accessible, creating a self-perpetuating cycle. Breaking these loops requires more than conscious effort. It requires changing the physical and emotional state that's triggering the associative cascade. Your subconscious also demonstrates remarkable pattern recognition abilities that go far beyond conscious awareness. It can detect subtle regularities in complex situations and use those patterns to make predictions about what's likely to happen next. This is why experienced professionals often develop what they call intuition about their field. Their subconscious has processed thousands of similar situations and learned to recognize subtle cues that consciously trained reasoning might miss. But this pattern matching system can also work against you when circumstances change. If your subconscious learned patterns during childhood that were adaptive for your family environment, those same patterns might be completely inappropriate for your adult relationships. Your subconscious might still be running social software designed for managing unpredictable or emotionally volatile caregivers, even though you're now interacting with stable, consistent people. The timing of when experiences occur also affects how they're processed and stored. Experiences during certain developmental windows have disproportionate influence on subconscious programming. The patterns you learn about love, safety, worth, and possibility during your first few years of life become foundational templates that influence everything that comes after. This isn't because those early experiences were necessarily more important, but because your subconscious was in a particularly receptive learning state during those periods. Understanding this temporal sensitivity reveals why some therapeutic approaches focus on early childhood experiences while others emphasize present moment awareness. Both are accessing different aspects of how subconscious programming develops and maintains itself. Early experiences create the foundational architecture, but your subconscious continues learning and updating throughout your entire life. The key is recognizing which patterns are still serving you and which ones need conscious intervention to modify. Your subconscious also processes information holistically rather than sequentially. While conscious thought tends to work through problems step by step, subconscious processing can simultaneously consider multiple variables and arrive at solutions that seem to come from nowhere. This is why insights often emerge during relaxed states like walking, showering, or just before sleep. When conscious analytical thinking steps back, the subconscious can present integrated solutions that incorporate far more information than linear reasoning could handle. This holistic processing capability means your subconscious often knows things before your conscious mind does. It might generate feelings of unease about a situation days before you can articulate what's wrong. It might draw you towards certain people or opportunities based on pattern recognition that operates below conscious awareness. Learning to trust and interpret these subconscious signals becomes crucial for making decisions that align with your deeper wisdom rather than just your surface-level reasoning. The relationship between conscious and subconscious processing isn't competitive. They're designed to work together, each contributing different capabilities to help you navigate life effectively. Conscious thought excels at focused analysis, verbal reasoning, and intentional planning. Subconscious processing handles pattern recognition, emotional evaluation, and creative integration. Problems arise when these systems become disconnected or when one tries to do work that belongs to the other. This collaboration becomes especially important when you're trying to create meaningful changes in your life. Conscious willpower alone rarely produces lasting transformation because it's working against the deeper currents of subconscious programming. But conscious intention can learn to work with subconscious wisdom, using awareness to recognize automatic patterns and deliberately introducing new experiences that allow the subconscious to update its programming naturally. The most profound discovery about subconscious programming is that it's not fixed or permanent. Despite how unchangeable it might feel, your subconscious is constantly updating itself based on new information, but it requires specific conditions to modify deeply embedded patterns. Unlike conscious learning, which can happen through reading or logical explanation, subconscious reprogramming occurs through direct experience and repetition. This is why someone can intellectually understand that they're worthy of love while still feeling undeserving at a gut level. Their conscious mind has accepted new information, but their subconscious hasn't experienced enough contradictory evidence to update its foundational programming. The key lies in understanding that your subconscious responds to what you repeatedly expose it to, not what you occasionally think about. If you spend 5 minutes a day affirming your worth, but 12 hours consuming content that reinforces feelings of inadequacy, your subconscious will strengthen the patterns that align with the majority experience. This is why environmental design becomes crucial for anyone serious about personal transformation. Your subconscious is always learning from whatever you're feeding it most consistently. Research in neuroplasticity has revealed that the brain remains remarkably adaptable throughout life, but subconscious change follows specific principles. The subconscious updates most readily during states of relaxed awareness, when the critical conscious mind steps back and allows new information to integrate without resistance. This is why practices like meditation, hypnosis, and certain forms of therapy can be so effective. They create optimal conditions for subconscious learning to occur, but you don't need special techniques to begin influencing your subconscious programming. Every moment offers opportunities to feed your subconscious new data about who you are and what's possible. The conversations you have, the content you consume, the environments you spend time in, the people you surround yourself with, all of these continuously shape your subconscious understanding of reality. Most people remain unconscious of this process, allowing random influences to program their minds by default. Becoming intentional about subconscious programming means taking responsibility for your mental diet, in the same way you might consider your nutritional choices. Just as your body becomes what you repeatedly feed it, your subconscious becomes what you repeatedly expose it to. This includes not just external inputs, but internal dialogue and imagination. Your subconscious doesn't distinguish between vividly imagined experiences and real ones when it comes to emotional learning. This makes visualization and mental rehearsal powerful tools for programming new patterns. The timing of subconscious input also matters significantly. The moments just before sleep and immediately upon waking represent windows when your subconscious is particularly receptive to new programming. During these liminal states, the analytical conscious mind operates with reduced intensity, allowing deeper patterns to be more easily influenced. Many successful people intuitively understand this, using morning and evening routines to consistently feed their subconscious empowering beliefs and images. Your subconscious also responds powerfully to repetition, but not just any repetition. Mechanical affirmations repeated without genuine feeling often fail because the subconscious reads emotional authenticity more than verbal content. However, when you combine repetitive exposure with genuine emotional engagement, subconscious learning accelerates dramatically. This is why certain songs or movies can shift your mood so quickly. They're triggering established emotional patterns through familiar sensory combinations. Understanding this emotional component reveals why forced positivity rarely creates lasting change. Your subconscious can detect incongruence between conscious intentions and deeper emotional patterns. If you're trying to program confidence while simultaneously feeling afraid, your subconscious receives mixed signals and typically defaults to the more emotionally authentic pattern. This is why gradual, gentle approaches to subconscious change often work better than dramatic attempts at immediate transformation. The social environment plays an especially powerful role in subconscious programming because humans are inherently social beings. Your subconscious continuously monitors social cues to determine what behaviors and beliefs are safe and appropriate in your tribe. If everyone around you operates from scarcity thinking, your subconscious will tend to maintain scarcity patterns to ensure social belonging. This isn't conscious conformity. It's automatic nervous system adaptation designed to maintain connection and safety. This social programming explains why changing your peer group can catalyze rapid personal transformation. When you surround yourself with people who embody the qualities you want to develop, your subconscious begins automatically modeling their patterns. You start unconsciously adopting their body language, speech patterns, belief systems, and behavioral tendencies. This happens without conscious effort because your subconscious is designed to help you fit into whatever social environment you inhabit most frequently. Physical environment also communicates constantly with your subconscious. Cluttered, chaotic spaces tend to reinforce scattered, overwhelmed internal states. Clean, organized environments support feelings of clarity and control. Natural settings often activate parasympathetic nervous system responses that promote relaxation and openness to new learning. Your subconscious reads environmental cues as information about what kind of person you are and what behaviors are appropriate. The breakthrough comes when you realize that you can consciously design experiences that naturally reprogram your subconscious in desired directions. Instead of fighting against unwanted patterns through willpower alone, you can strategically create conditions that allow new patterns to emerge organically. This might involve changing your physical environment, adjusting your social connections, modifying your daily routines, or deliberately exposing yourself to new experiences that contradict limiting beliefs. Your subconscious mind isn't some mysterious force beyond your influence. It's a sophisticated learning system that's been shaping your reality since birth, and now you understand how it works. Every moment offers a choice about what you feed this incredible processor. Every experience becomes data that either reinforces old patterns or creates new possibilities. The question isn't whether your subconscious will be programmed, but whether you'll take conscious responsibility for that programming or let it happen by default.